for Paris, drifted down around the château. They'd set a few lanterns outside, and Lena's eyes fell on the metal gate at the front of the estate, wrapped in dead ivy vines and quivering in its brace. Beyond it stood dark, thick forest, the needly evergreens dusted with white. The séance participants, called sitters, had gathered at midnight. The parents of the victim, whom Lena had met several days prior to this event, arrived first. They were followed soon after by Lena and her teacher, the renowned medium who would lead tonight's affair, Vaudeline D'Allaire. All of them were dressed in black, and the energy in the room was neither warm nor welcoming. As the parents waited in their seats, their movements were nervous and abrupt. The father knocked over a brass candlestick and apologized profusely. Lena, opening her notebook from across the table, couldn't blame him. They were all anxious, and Lena had wiped her damp palms on her gown a dozen times already. No one wanted to spend this agonizing hour under Vaudeline's guidance. The price of admission was terribly high, and that wasn't accounting for the francs she required up front. The spirit they meant to conjure tonight was not of the everyday sort, but nor were any of the ghosts Vaudeline invited to come forth. These were not old grandmothers in white nightgowns, lives lived long, stalking through corridors. These were not the casualties of war, valiant men who'd known what they were getting themselves into. No, these ghosts were victims of violence and gone too soon. They'd been murdered, every one of them. And worse, their killers had gotten away. This was where Vaudeline came in, and it was why people sought her out. People like the couple trembling across the table now. People like Lena. Vaudeline, aged 30, was known throughout the world for her skill in conjuring the spirits of murder victims in order to ascertain the identities of their killers. An esteemed spiritualist, she had solved several of Europe's most baffling murder mysteries. Her name had made headlines dozens of times, especially after her departure from London early last year, the circumstances of which yet remained unclear. Even still, this hadn't dampened her loyal worldwide following. She lived now in Paris, her city of birth. The forgotten château was an unusual place for a séance, but then much was strange about Vaudeline's methods, and she claimed spirits could only be conjured at the location where they died. 2 weeks earlier, on the 1st of February, Lena had crossed the English Channel to begin studying under Vaudeline. Lena knew she wasn't her teacher's most devoted student. She wavered in her beliefs often, struggling with the necessity of the ancient devil's incantation, or the Palo Santo, or the bowl of warbler shells. It wasn't that she didn't believe. She simply couldn't be sure. None of this could be proved. None of this could be weighed or analysed or turned over in her hands like the stones and specimens she kept back home. Where other students might have readily accepted even the most far-fetched theories about the occult, Lena found herself constantly asking, how? How do you know for sure? And though she'd attended one séance a few years ago, nothing convincing had come of it. Certainly no ghosts had appeared. It was maddening, this truth versus illusion business. In her 23 years of life, Lena had never seen an apparition. Some claimed to feel a cool presence when walking among old estates and cemeteries, or said they'd seen a flicker in the candlelight, or a human-like shadow on the wall. Lena would nod along, wanting badly to believe. But couldn't these be explained by something more reasonable? Tricks of the light existed everywhere, prisms and reflections easily explained by science. If Lena had been asked a few months ago to travel to Paris to participate in a séance, she might have laughed. And studying the art of séance itself, quite the waste of time. What with so many rock specimens waiting to be collected along the River Thames. But then came All Hallows' Eve. The night Lena found her precious younger sister, Evie, stabbed to death in the garden of their parents' modest traveller's hotel.